we realized that a lot of people, like Pasha mentioned, that the course is there and it's done, but the one thing that we felt was missing, or the feedback we got, was that people wanted more hands-on coaching to really learn, all right, what are you all doing? How does it work? How are you making money? How did you get the $100,000 in 90 days? And so we created our own course where now, imagine just now there being a hub where not only are we teaching digital marketing and exactly what we've done to earn the money we've earned, but also we're adding additional things into the school now.
Steve and Pasha, welcome back again. We're so thrilled that you guys have been able to invest the time with us.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Story with the world. It's been phenomenal. We know this part 2 is going to be beyond amazing. So
Absolutely.
let's rock and roll.
Okay. So let's talk about intimacy. And in marriage, people out there, intimacy means a lot of different things to a lot
But
of
for
different
most men, it means one thing.
Yes. Most men, it just means sex.
Just sex.
Women are like, oh, intimacy is, well, some women is just hard sex too. But most women are like, it means getting
The
close.
romance me.
Romance me.
Don't need all that.
And intimacy can be a whole lot more. Look, he's still, you see what I got to deal with, who has 43 years. Oh my gosh. Anyway, you know, ladies, you just give them a little and they're happy. So, anyway.
That's right. Most men are very simple. Y'all
They are very simple. Very
It's
true.
not that difficult
We
with
don't
us.
need
much but a little. Just give us a little. We're good. We're good. Yeah, absolutely.
So on the topic of intimacy, in your marriage, I love you too. In your marriage, how do you create the intimacy of your relationship and really make it unique and different as you age in your marriage? Because you guys have been married for quite a while now.
24 years.
So what do you do?
Well, I can start. For me, I have just been so attracted to him since the moment like when he walks in the room, I light up. I really do. So for me, it's just easy because it's just something about the way he looks, the way he walks, the way he smells, his bow legs. I mean, I could keep going now. His eyes. I mean, it's a lot to this package. So it's like I don't know. For me, this thing has been easy because I just feel blessed every time he walks in the room. I'm just like, that's my baby right there.
Pasha, that is beautiful. I mean, you do not hear this in society today. This needs to be echoed, I mean, throughout the world, literally, what you just did. I mean, that is so...
This should be the norm.
Oh, yeah.
We can hear this, but this should be the norm, Pasha.
Yes.
That's so funny
things
because
that
I didn't know
attracted
this
you-
was not the norm because I would think, and that's just the truth. And he is, first of all, let me break this down. I think that when you have an admiration and a respect for who your husband is because of who he is, what he does, and how he presents himself, and you love that side of him, it makes it easy to love the intimate side of him as well. Sometimes I've heard people where they have that attractive spouse, but they may not like some of the things that they do, so they put up this wall. But because I love who he is, the whole package, it just makes it easy. I always tease him. I say, you know, I'm his biggest fan, and I say that with pride. I'm his biggest fan.
You're his cheerleader.
Yes.
Yeah,
and look, and I
absolutely.
did that
You
professionally,
root
so
him
I
on.
know how to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
And, you know, it seems like you guys have shared interest in providing, you know, the financial aspect of your family. I will say, when I talk to men, I say it's so wonderful to see a man that has a heart for his family, a heart to take care of the family. America and the world really doesn't understand how difficult it is to be a man in today's world and really provide for your family. It's a remarkable thing.
And for you to, Pasha, to acknowledge the beauty in him as a person.
Yes.
You know, the beauty in his outer look, but also the beauty in his heart.
His heart.
We as females we are more nurturing. We're more sensitive to those things. Not that men don't need it, but this is why we are there, to inform them of that. You know, Steve, I want to ask you, when she says those things, how does that make you feel?
You know, when you just said, Corey, a minute ago, that men may not need it, I'm thinking, yeah, we do. We're like, and Stephen said it earlier, we're simple beings. And when we know that the person that we call our better half has a level of respect and admiration for us, that's all I need. I could be messing up. I could be making mistakes. But if I know that when I get home, I'm gonna get the opposite of what are you doing and why'd you do that? And I want to get, hey, it's okay. You made a mistake, but you know what? You got this. Like all we need as men, and this is what I find myself to be an alpha man, but I'm an alpha man only because I feel like I've got this wind beneath my wing, because I wouldn't be as alpha maybe if I was by myself. Because I think real men, no matter how strong, and even those that may not feel that he's that strong, we need that support of that significant other. And we need that reassurance that they believe in us. That person believes in what we do. They believe in our talent. They believe in our ability. They believe in what we can provide to our families. That is so very important to me. And so because I think that if I felt that she doubted who I am or doubted what I was capable of, it would make me question, can I do this? But I've never questioned that ever because I already come with the belief that I can do whatever I want to do. I can do whatever I put my mind to, babe. I can learn this or I can accomplish this. But when I hear, oh yeah, I already know, and you'll be the best at it, I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Let's do it, And so
absolutely.
I credit her for that.
Absolutely.
I credit her for, because now this is something that I'm going to say very openly. I think Pasha has the personality a lot like how a man would think. Like Pasha doesn't act like the typical woman. And I'm gonna be careful with my words so I don't want to offend any women. But a typical woman or a woman that falls in a category that is just kind of what they believe how they should act. Pasha's the opposite. She's not the kind that's going to complain and whine or she's just not that person. And I love her for that because she knows how to be a lady, but she's strong enough to where she can take on the role of what I do, if she wants to. But she respectfully takes that step back and says, you're the man of this house, so lead,
And I think the word you were looking for is stereotypical.
Yeah,
Yes, that's the word.
because not all women are like that.
Yeah.
But I think it's like assumed that this is how women are going to act. They're going to complain if you mess up and all. I don't get that. And sometimes when I do have conversations with my close friends who are married, and I love their wives, like I know all of them, but I'll sometimes hear some of the things that the wives say or do or make them feel, and I always have to say to myself, I am forever grateful that she doesn't make me feel that way. She doesn't, because we all, as men, Stephen, you and I can agree this very openly on this podcast. We make mistakes. We mess up.
Yes.
We are not perfect
Absolutely.
by any stretch of the imagination. And when we mess up, it's not what we do. It's also, a lot of times it's, okay, how's this going to impact you? How's this going to affect the family? And how are you going to make me feel about this? And every time for 20 plus years, she's always made me feel like you got this. You might have fumbled, but you got this.
Yeah.
It's priceless.
That's the edification and the
priceless.
gratitude for who you are and what you're doing and the support. And one thing you said, she's a lady, which is the feminine, the soft, but she's also a woman, which is the advisor. Woman. We are meant to be business women. Proverbs 31 woman, the scripture says she brought her goods to the marketplace. What's that mean? She was a businesswoman. She's supposed to know how to make things happen. And we are supposed to support that. The helpmate or the helpmeet, we are to lift up. That's what we're meant to do. But some women get around other women and all they do is just, and so you got to find out who your friends are, and you got to find out the conversation that's going on, because what you do, what you speak out comes back to you. And then you leave your friends and you go home and you start looking for that negative in your spouse because you're so used to hearing it from others. So you have to be careful. Women have to be careful about, men and women have to be careful about the relationships that they have, because the people around them can formulate thought. And again, like I said, you are your world pushed out. You start seeing stuff that doesn't exist.
It's beautiful because as you guys share, it's very evident this love story that is developing, and the way you appreciate and love each other is this cement.
Yes.
It's like you've built a fortress, like your marriage is a moat. right? I mean, there's not much that can get to you guys. It's really
Yeah.
powerful. And it's such a blessing to see that because it's so rare.
And that kind of piggybacks on, I know that's the next subject, so I'm not going to go too quick. I'm not going to put the cart before the horse. But even when it comes to business, like as entrepreneurs, there have been ups and downs in business over the 20 plus
Sure.
years that we've been together. And even
Yeah.
in the down times, there has never been a time where Pasha has made me feel less than. Never.
And she could have.
Oh,
That's the thing.
there have been times where
She
she
could
could have
have.
been like, what are you doing? You know, or
Mhm.
how did this happen? She has never made me feel that, because I think it goes
Beautiful.
back to communication.
And it goes back to me understanding
My
your
intention.
intention.
Yeah, I've never,
Yes.
like, yeah, I may take a
Yes.
chance on something or get in an investment that ended up blowing up in our face. Even, and here's one thing I will say about my wife, and I don't know if it's just a gift from God or what, but she has what we have labeled a spidey sense. I've never seen her wrong in this spidey sense. Now, I've been ignorant enough in the early days to where I would disagree when she was giving me the spidey sense, like, I don't think this investment looks good. Or she's like, no, I'm not really feeling this person. And I'm not sure if he's as trustworthy as you think, honey. And I'm like, no, I'm like, he's cool. You know, what are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, look, I'm like, look, it's only a $5,000 investment, you know, but this is what he wants. And she's like, I'm like, he said he can do this. She's like, but do you believe it? Have you done some background? I'm like, babe, come on. And I'm telling you, every single time that has happened, doesn't happen as much now because now we're more mature, where I'm like, if you got a spidey sense, I'm not fooling with it. Because I've done that, been there, done that, got the t-shirt and the hat. I already know if you say that this ain't gonna work, then I'm not doing it. Because look, and she's never even said, this is another thing. She's never said, I told you so. She's not in that way. She may say those words like, well, I kind of knew that, but she'll never say it like, I told you. You know, it's never like that. It'd be like, yeah, well, hey, honey, that's what I was feeling. That's what I was trying to tell you, that he made me feel this way, and I didn't feel that he was as trustworthy as you were giving him. And you give everybody the benefit of the doubt, honey, but sometimes, you know, you got to look at these red flags and look at the real color. It's red, you know, and I'm like, okay, you're right. You know, so there have been times where I've done that, where I'm like, oh, but she's never made me feel like, oh, I can't tell her about this. I can't, I don't even want to tell her the truth. I'll go back and be like, babe, you were spot on. And he's not even calling me back now. I don't know where everybody went. His phone is disconnected, and you were absolutely right. Those things have happened in our story. I'm like, I can't reach us. She's like, I knew it. I knew he was that kind of person. She's like, babe, I just had that feeling. And I'm like, you and those damn spidey senses, you know? So she got it, you know? Whatever it is, she is
I'm with
spot on.
Bro, I'm telling you, this one is an empath. I mean, she will knock them down in a minute. It's so wild. Now, Pasha, though, all right, you got to talk to us, because where are you getting this from? There's a couple of things I'm curious about that are rising up, right? Like, you got 4 kids, you're a wife, you're a mom, you're a business. What time do you go to bed at night? What time do you get up in the morning? I mean, like, how do you do it?
No, the funniest thing is I've always been a late night person. So I don't go to bed, and this is not good. So I don't want anybody to implement this, but 2 a.m., I don't go to bed before 2 a.m., but I may be relaxed.
And I'm always saying,
He's always
in bed, like, yeah, sleep, put the phone down, shut the laptop down, or she'll turn the TV on. I'm like, are you really about to watch TV right now? It's 1:45. Are you turning the show on?
Are you getting started? Yes, yes.
You're beginning the show. It's 1:45. And she's like, I can't sleep. But thank God I can sleep through anything. So
Yes.
if
So
she says, all right, hey, do you, I'm going to bed. And I'll turn over and go to sleep. It could be a hurricane happening, and I don't know until it's time for me to get up.
Yes, but I do sleep in because luckily right now all my kids are driving, so my oldest is driving, so we don't have to get up early.
Now, but he's driving.
He's riding, yeah, right, exactly. So we don't have to get up early to do drop-offs anymore. This is our first year experiencing this. So
First year.
we are enjoying the moment. So I can stay up late now and say, well, this is perfect because I don't have to get up and be ready at 6:30 to take somebody somewhere.
So wait a minute, you were going to bed at 2 and waking up before 6:30. So what are you getting 4 and 5 hours sleep?
I know that was then. I've gotten better. That's why I said I've been working on myself. I know. Yeah.
Boy, I've always said that's not good.
I know.
Like, look, I
know.
hear entrepreneurs. This is one thing I disagree with entrepreneurs. You know, entrepreneurs throw
Yeah.
they throw those little sayings out like "we'll sleep when we're dead" and
Mhm.
all this. Like, no,
No.
man. Look, it is so
Tells me it's
important
over,
to
though.
the body
I agree.
to get a
Amen.
proper
Yes.
amount of rest. You need rest. You
you.
need
Thank you.
water. You need the right nutrition. You
Yeah.
you need that, and so sleep
You do.
is so vital. I try my
Sleep is
best to
healing.
get it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. You do. You do.
Sleep is healing. Sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
And
I'm working
and
on it.
good. And in another conversation, I will tell the audience, which they've already heard our show on menopause and andropause. So you guys know that we're on the other side of andropause and menopause. But I'll tell you what, he never slept until andropause, and now he's like, I can't believe I never slept.
I love it. Now you got to pull me up to
It's like,
speed.
I
I'm
love to
I'm
sleep
not as
now.
familiar with andropause. So what? Let's
Well-
I mean, I know that's not the topic of this show, but I
Yeah.
guess that's something I guess
Andropause
that's
is the
something
same
I'm gonna
as
have to look
menopause.
forward
It's
to.
for men. Yeah. And so for me, but I've always slept. So Stephen was like, you sleep all the time. I said, I know. And nobody's going to get more sleep than me in this house because
Good.
I'm going to be healthy and I'm going to live long.
Yep.
You
Yes.
know? So Pasha, I'm glad you're getting your sleep now.
Yes, I am.
Bravo.
I'm
Right
getting
here.
much
The
better.
kids don't need you. Yeah. So they're not, they don't need you, but they don't need you that early.
Yes.
So that's
Right.
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So let's move on to finance now because we got the
Who does the budget?
You know,
I think we both
Both
kind
of
of do
us
it
kinda-
together.
you know,
We do everything together with that.
and listen, I don't know if this will cause some men out, and maybe women too, that will disagree, but from day one, when we both said I do, it became ours. And so I know couples today that are close friends of ours that still do separate bank accounts. You know, this is mine, this is yours, and we just have never done that. And I'm totally happy that we do it the way we do it because whatever's in there, it's ours, period. And that's just how we've done it all. And it's always worked for us because I never want to keep score. I never want to say, well, who earned this amount? Where did that come from? No, it's just whatever's in there, that's ours. So guess what? We both want to win. And so we want enough to where we can do whatever we want to do, go wherever we want to go, live the way we want to live. And I always tell Pasha, I don't want her to have to do anything, which, you know, prayerfully and thankfully, she doesn't have to do stuff, but she's just not the person that's going to sit back and say, no, I'm not doing anything. And so I welcome it. I welcome it because like even with the digital marketing that I know we'll talk about, she found that, you know, so I'm like, hey, that was fantastic. I'm super happy that she found it because I hadn't found it. But the beautiful thing is, I always tell people, and I want the audience members to hear this. If you're on a team, and marriage is a team, it is impossible for one person to win and the other person to lose, but the team wins the championship. It's impossible.
Yeah.
If you're on the same team, you're either both winning or you're both losing. So we have never kept score. It's always been, hey, we're on the same team. So if there's anything you're feeling or anything you feel slighted about or anything like that, then we're not playing team marriage here. So this is
Mhm.
ours, not mine. And I've got mine, you've got yours, or how much did you bring to the table? We don't do that at all.
Yeah.
And that's always
beautiful,
worked for
yeah.
us.
Yep. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, when you guys, through your marriage, have you guys decided who's going to pay the bills or who's going to the little things?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times our viewers are like,
It
well,
flip-flops.
I'm not
It
good
does
with
flip-flop,
numbers,
so
but
yeah.
he wants me to do
Well,
the bills.
I think before technology, you know, it was more of an issue because now we just put so much stuff on auto.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We're the auto pay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just
Wait.
draft and stuff. Now it's
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
matter of what was that that's paying off? You know, what is that? You recognize this, you know, that kind of thing. Would you recognize this charge?
We've been paying this for a year. What is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say this, like sometimes, like even like I would say in this season, she's been handling that in this season. And I think it's because there's been so much coming in and so much going out that sometimes we're like, well, how much is going out? Like, why is that number that big? Like I know we got 4 kids and stuff, but we looked at
Like, if we look at the real number of what sometimes goes out, it's ridiculous. And it's just like, hold up. So she'll say, let me go through all of this and let me just figure out where's a leak. There's something going out that doesn't need to go out because, it just shouldn't be that much in overall expenses. It just shouldn't be that much.
Right.
And here's the thing, as entrepreneurs, you guys have more control, but also more responsibility for what's going in and out, because it's not like a company's just going to pay you for showing up, or it's not like a company's going to give you health insurance. You guys have to get your own health insurance. You've got to get everything you have. There's no 401k just sitting there waiting for you. So for you entrepreneurs out there, understand that you still need to get your stuff together.
Yeah,
and especially if you're coming from working for somebody. And you're used to, well, I've always had dental and I've always had health insurance. Well, you got to get it down on your own. Those are finances that have to be secured
Yeah.
because it's important. And
Absolutely.
so that's something that's beautiful, that, the amount that you have come in versus the amount that you have to go out. But where is it going out to? And is it something that's going to sustain you, in your life and your lifestyle?
Yeah.
It's funny you say, no, I was going to say, Corey, you hit something spot on, because what I know just through my understanding of how business works now, because we've been in business for 20 plus years, there are people where, okay, let's just say someone were to say he or she makes $50,000 a month. Now, in mainstream, that would be so much excess money. You got to whatever you want to do. But I see mainstream would say there's no way that there could ever be a financial issue if that much is coming in. But when I look at celebrities or athletes or entertainers or even just entrepreneurs that hit it big in cash flow, a lot of times we're in a bubble where others don't understand. Look, you could have 50 coming in, but if you got 60 going out, you got problems.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Or
It's
if
true.
you got 50 coming in and you got 45 going out, you still got
You
problems.
still got
And so
problems. Mhm.
I
Yep.
always say
It's true.
there is no number that I
Mhm.
feel a lifestyle can't catch up to. Well, there's probably a number, but
Absolutely.
there is a number out there, but there's always a way to match what you're doing. So the objective with an entrepreneur, in my opinion, is get the cash flow and the income here and try to get the expenses
Yeah,
out going
that's
down
right.
here. Try to
Yes.
make that gap
Yeah.
wider and wider and wider, because it
Mhm.
doesn't matter what the number is. If you're making 100 but spending 90, then you still got net 10. If you're
Mhm.
making 20 but spending 10, you got net 10. So I always
Mhm.
say it doesn't
Doesn't
matter
matter.
what the number is. You got to make sure you try to widen the gap of what's coming in versus what's going out.
That's excellent.
Beautiful. Yeah. That's so smart. Yeah. Because again, it's almost like the millionaire next door, that mindset of, you don't know what your neighbor is making because still live next door to you, you know, so, and they're still driving that same car, but you don't know what they have for security purposes. And we all need that financial security
Absolutely.
purposes, for people to say, well, I'll think about that next year. That's not wise, especially if you're married and especially if you have children.
Yes.
You never know. Our children are 36 and 29. You never know if they're going to need you.
Right.
Oh,
You don't know.
and
you
the
want to be able to be
likelihood
there
that
for
they
them.
will is high.
Yes. Especially kids
Mhm.
these
Yeah,
days.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, kids,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always say, look, don't let the age determine whether or not they're gonna need,
No,
make a phone call, because, yeah,
that's right.
they definitely will call.
They will call.
So,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, we've been visiting with Steve and Pasha Carter. This is episode 2 with them. And as we move along in their story, we're going to talk a little bit now about their business and how they have had success throughout the years. But we want to also touch on that journey a little bit, how the up times and the down times and the transition times and what they have recently been highly successful in. We'll hear from them about that. So let's talk a little bit about your rise to success, right? And then coming back down, what challenges you face, and then let's get into where you're at today and what you're involved with and how people can get involved.
Beautiful. I'll start it, Pasha, and then
Go
you
ahead.
can piggyback.
Piggyback.
Well, we both started in the networking industry years ago. 20 years ago, we got into network marketing. So we knew we
More than 20.
24 4 years. No, 1996.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's almost 30 years, 29 years.
Yeah.
So we got into the industry because at that time we felt that was an example of the definition of being an entrepreneur, being a business owner. Obviously, we've matured since then, and we recognize that you don't really own that business, if it's a network marketing company. And that's no slight to the industry. It's just fact. You don't own it. You may run your downline or, control the trainings, but you don't own it. And what we learned the hard way was in two of our network marketing companies. The second one, more than anything, we built to a multi-million dollar cash flow, revenue generator, and made millions of dollars. Very, very grateful, very humble that we made millions of dollars in that company. But what ended up happening one day, we started hearing rumblings that there were some issues going on with the owners and the original investors of the company, which, by the way, had nothing to do with any of the leaders in the field, nothing to do with anything that we had ever done. And we start hearing that there was some bickering going on and there was some issues that were possibly going to come to head. And sure enough, we start seeing changes in the compensation plan, changes in this, changes in that. And I say all that, I'll fast forward to my point, which is no matter how big of a business we built, which we built one heck of a business in that company, when it stopped, it went to zero instantly because we made a decision. It was time to part ways. And so no matter what you built, we talk about this passive residual income that's going to pay you forever.
Right.
But the thing is, in network marketing, it just doesn't work that way. In 9 out of 10 times, it doesn't. Meaning, if you get to a point where you either A, slow down or stop working because you want to retire, or B, you have a disagreement and you decide it's time to go the other way, you don't keep making revenue from that. So you could be making 50 grand every month, $60,000-$70,000 coming in. But then if you part ways with that company, they aren't sending a penny after that.
Right.
And so we had to learn that because we felt like, okay, well, we've done it once, we'll do it again. Now we did do it a second time.
Yeah.
The first company we built, we made good money. It wasn't multi-millions like we did in our second company, but we did build it. The second company ended up being a bigger build for us than the first. But once that happened and we had ended up having to part ways with that, which we made the decision to part ways because we didn't want any negativity. We knew it was coming because we started hearing these things about what was going on with the investors and the owners. And we made a decision to part ways, and we had a high-level conversation with our organization. But the reality is, to rebuild something like that took 10 years to build, it is tough to try to do it all over again. So we ended up kind of having to pivot, and we got back in the industry. But once we start discovering that it's just not growing the way we grew it before, and we knew our knowledge was different, we knew, okay, we've got to put something in place that we control,
Right.
something that we own, because we're not going to bail on ourselves.
Right.
And so that was something, it was a wake-up call that we ended up having to kind of make those transitions and make those pivots. And then I'll let you piggyback on.
And then Steve found trading. So he started trading when finally. First was crypto. Yes. And that was the times when I'd be like, the spidey senses were, honey.
That was a fantastic catastrophe.
Yes.
Go ahead. Meaning we made a ton of money until it all imploded. Go ahead.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And then Steve started learning to trade. So he started learning to trade, and he was, going through the ups and downs of that. And I was like, okay, because one thing I know Steve's personality. So I knew when he said he was about to start trading, I was like, he's going to be good at that because that's how his brain kind of works. You give him his computer and show him a system. I said, you're going to be one of the best at that. So that's what he started doing and started succeeding with that. And then recently, as you know, I was just up late on my late night up at
Her 2 a.m.
right,
scroll.
up at 1:30 a.m., scrolling through TikTok as I do sometimes. and I ran across Gary Vee. And, Gary Vee's the kind where he's always boisterous and cusses and says it to where, so at 1:45, you hear somebody screaming and telling you what the next wave of Uber millionaires. He was talking about social selling and how, if people don't grasp the point of, understanding social selling and understanding having that presence and getting paid off of your content, you know, he said it just doesn't make sense if you don't capitalize on it. So then I started hearing about digital marketing through little pieces and snippets of as I'm digging deeper. And I run across a familiar face who was a former, she used to babysit our kids. And she had made $20,000 the previous month with digital marketing. And so I'm like, what
We're
is
like,
digital
wait, what is that?
like, what is this, right? So I give her a call. I'm waiting for this video or live that she's doing to finish up this video I'm watching. I'm like, okay. So I'm reaching out to her like, what is this? What is it that you're doing? So as she's on the phone explaining it to me, I'm just like, send me the link. As you know how sometimes people start explaining, you just like, send me the link. I'm ready, because what I knew is this. Number one, there were three things that made sense to me. After hearing Gary Vee talk about how the QVCification of the internet, meaning live social selling, people getting online and whatever the product, whether it's digital or physical, you're talking and other people are buying while you're talking. That is the new rage. In addition to that, having a product that's digital where you don't have to have a physical product, you don't have to have manufacturing costs, you don't have to have this, but it has
And you didn't even have to build it.
and you don't have to build it, and it has this value attached to it because everybody wants it, because everybody's trying to figure it out. Everybody wants to learn about AI. Everybody wants to learn about how to make money on Amazon. Everybody's trying. So if you have that, it has value to it. But now you're able to earn 80% plus, 80% or more of the profit versus like back when we were doing network marketing where we may have a product, but if it's a lotion or skincare, it costs $29.95. We're probably making only $5 off of that. So we had to sell a lot of that. So seeing that, and the third thing was understanding the number of people at your disposal. When we were coming through, we had to make a list and reach out to people that we know and ask them to do us a favor, support our business, buy our product. That day is gone because now you got over 1 billion people that are online. And you can literally learn with the click the right buttons how to just get your message out to grab a few of those people every single day. And if a few of those people that you've never met, they don't have to be in your city, they don't have to be in your country. All they have to do is want the product that you're putting out there. And what we found is how to get that algorithm to kick in. And they find something that they love that you have. And literally people can make thousands of dollars a day from their home. And a lot of people don't even know this exists. So we started doing this, and within our first 90 days, we made over $100,000. And all we were doing was taking 1 hour, maybe an hour or less a day. That's it. Going online and following the step-by-step system. And it's just been phenomenal. Now we're teaching everybody the game.
Yeah. So who was there to teach you? Was it
No,
your babysitter? Your
no,
previous baby-
because here's the thing. The course, now she used to babysit our kids. Now, let me tell you the interesting thing about that is another reason why that was intriguing is because I knew she was an introvert. So I was like, okay, I know she's introverted. I knew she didn't have a big social media following. She started with 0 people on TikTok, a brand new account. So I was like, wait a minute, I already have a halfway decent following. As you can see, I'm not an introvert. And I was like, I knew that and she kept saying, Pasha, I'm telling you, if you do this, and I'm thinking to myself, yes, because, and the people that I know too, that have been in the industry we've been in and have been on the stages, I already knew it was game on. So I learned from the course because the course teaches you everything you need to know.
But so the audience understands what ended up happening was we realized that a lot of people, like Pasha mentioned, that the course is there and it's done. But the one thing that we felt was missing, or the feedback we got, was that people wanted more hands-on coaching to really learn, all right, what are you all doing? How does it work? How are you making money? How did you get the $100,000 in 90 days? Where now, imagine just now there being a hub where not only are we teaching digital marketing and exactly what we've done to earn the money we've earned, but also we're adding additional things into the school now. And so we're going to continue to add. I can't imagine what it's going to look like even 90 days from now, let alone a year from now, where people can come into our community and if they can pick whatever they want to choose to earn them money. And so
Yes.
some people might be attracted to this versus that. And if as long as we have it back there and say, well, this is how it works, here's how you can make money doing it. This is all online. Boom, boom, boom. People can choose what they want. So we have a goal of becoming the most attractive business hub on the internet. That's what our goal is, so that when anybody gets in there, it's like, oh my God, I can make money a million different ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really what we want to teach.
That's beautiful.
The customer's happy
you-
because they're learning, and the person who marketed to them is happy because they're making money. So it's a learn-earn situation.
So what you did was you found this, and then you guys developed it even deeper.
Absolutely.
I
Correct.
think she find I
Yes.
think she got Steve's attention. She was working while Steve was asleep, and then she kept working. And next thing you know, she probably said, "Baby, look at this."
You just
And he only had to take 2 seconds to look at it. He was like,
Oh,
"Uh-oh."
absolutely. Look,
Yeah.
You done-
Stephen, you're right. You're spot on, because I can tell you in the first week, I think we did like $18,000 or something like that in a week. And I was like, all right, you got my attention. What is this digital marketing? I'm like, look, I got to learn all this stuff, because I hadn't been posting. I didn't go live. I was like, I got to learn this stuff. And so I'm just very thankful that she found it. And it really opened my eyes to realizing how big this is. And so we know that there are millions of people out there that don't know how this works. And so if they're interested, they can become a part of our community. It's $500 to get it, $497, but they can come in for as little as $43. But if they come into our community, it's going to be so many things back there that they can choose to do. And we teach and coach how to do it, and they can make money doing it. So, and then if they have friends that they want to share it with, just bring them into the community that we've built, and they'll make $400 every time someone else joins. So we keep just a small percentage of it. So if a listener right now on the podcast says, this is interesting, and he or she comes in, then they bring 10 people in, they'll make 400 times 10, $4,000 just for saying, hey, let's all get in this community and learn what the Carters have done and how they've been able to make, 6 figures in 90 days. How did that happen? Yeah, I think anybody can sell that.
especially when people don't have to come out of pocket, because the fact that you only have to come out of pocket with $43 down, like for instance, that's the exact method that we use. I use the buy now, pay later, because I'm like, well, let me just try this thing out, see if it works. I put my $43 down. Before it was time for my second payment of $43, we'd already made over $20,000.
I think
So
even as it stands right now, because we've only been in a little over four and a half, maybe 5 months or something, 43 times 5 is $200. So that means we've put a total of $200 in, but we've made about $153,000 from $200.
Okay, so what is the link that we need to be putting in the?
Yeah, if somebody's interested in coming into our community, they can go to VIPglobalnetwork.info. VIPglobalnetwork.info. And
that will be in the in the description also.
Oh, beautiful,
Okay, good.
beautiful. Or they can DM us
Yeah.
as well. I don't know if they can go to our Facebook pages or what have you, and reach out to us, and we'll get them information. If they want more information on it, even prior to making the purchase, they can do that as well. We'll get them information. And anybody that wants to come on board, we welcome them into our community.
Well, are you guys just pinching yourself? I mean, it's probably like coming back from network marketing. There's no calling people, chasing people around, having people ghost you.
No three-way calls.
Let me
No
tell you,
nothing.
the most refreshing part for me, and Steve can attest to this, he knows I'm a free spirit. And the best thing for me is I don't even have to be at home. Literally, I told Steve, I started looking at our analytics. I said, we're averaging about $1,000 per post. About $1,000 per post
Is that backwards or is that straight? Do you all see that straight or backwards?
No, we can see it. 153,194. In how many days?
a little bit over 100.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit over 100 days.
Yeah.
But here's the
Ladies and gentlemen, you got to check this out.
right. And here's the thing
Go
that I
ahead,
was telling
Pasha.
you is the fact that number one, I didn't have to be home. So I could literally be out and we'd be at lunch. I pull out my phone and just start going live, or I make a post, or was such an on the go kind of business. I never reached out to one person, never made one phone call, didn't do any meetings. I don't even follow up with people, because my thing is, if you see it and it's $43 for you to get started and you don't want to get in, you have to come back and find me because I found 10 other people that are ready. So we don't even do that. So it's been so different because right now, I think what's going on is people are understanding something big is going on right now. They're seeing people make money online. They know that you don't have to have a big following anymore. That day is over. And they understand that AI, if they really learn how to master it, not just to make cute recipes and stuff like that, no, to be able to use it for monetization, they know that there are big things and people are trying to figure out how to do it. And what I love is we're the ones that we've decided that, okay, we're going to show you everything. We're not going to just, because I've seen where, people can get a course and then in order to really learn, pay some more. And then in order to really learn, pay some more and more. And by the time you finish the checkout, you started with a free product and now you're over $1,000. No, our thing is we want to give you everything up front, everything that we learn, everything that we've done. We're showing people step by step how to succeed and make money. Because here's the thing, the fact that there are 1 billion people online, everybody has to have the abundance mentality. So it's not about, let's hold it to ourselves. Let's not share it. No, it does not matter who you are. You can open this up and start a brand new account today, and we can show you how to take that account and turn it into revenue.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, how's that sound? Because that sounds really simple. Literally, it sounds simple. It's not that it doesn't take your effort, but it's not a lot of effort.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. It sounds like it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It blends into your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're
because
welcome.
this is, again, and couples can do it.
Yes.
Couples can do it. And so thank you for that, because thinking about the two of you and your lifestyle right now, you're closer because, well, you're always close because you've always worked together. But for someone who hasn't worked with their spouse, if they can do something like this, it can bring them more time together.
Oh, yeah.
too.
Absolutely.
It's not time draining. Like network marketing can be time draining.
Yeah.
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 So
Absolutely.
beautiful. Thank you for that.
So if there's a couple out there that's struggling in any dimension of their life, communication, intimacy, or finance, what could be some parting things as we close this episode of the podcast? What recommendations would you guys share with them?
I think communication is the foundation. That leads to good intimacy as well as finances. But you have to make sure that you're on the same page. And I think that just talking it out and realizing, I want to reiterate a point I made, that a marriage is a team. And if you plan to win the marriage championship, it's impossible for one spouse to win while the other loses. You can't. Imagine, I'm from Chicago and I had season tickets to the Bulls when MJ played. And I love sports. I love watching it. But think about it. There was never a time where Mike could win the champion, but Scotty loses. It's just not. That's not how sports works. If they're on the same team, if that team wins the championship, they all got a ring. So you got to look at it like that with your spouse or your significant other. You can't win while he or she loses. So it's a team. So communicate and go after it together, because you're that much closer to the championship when both participants are playing hard for the same ring.
And for me, it's focusing on the right thing. I think that so often couples can get off because a spouse can have some things that you may not agree with, and you focus on those bad things versus focusing on the great things. And if you focus on the great things and you talk about the great things and you highlight the great things, guess what happens? More great things happen. You pull the greatness out of that person. I think we take that very seriously, because for us, it's about pulling out the best in each other. It's not about, we know we're not perfect. So he could focus on my imperfections, but why? I could focus on his imperfections, but why? When we have so many great things that we can focus on and highlight. So, and it's the same thing with our kids.
How they know that? I'm just finding out like that's an imperfections. I didn't realize that.
But when you focus on those great things, it just makes life easy and it makes it fun. And the other thing is, never get old. Like, I always have to stop any of my friends that talk about, I'm too old for that. Or look, age is a number. And it's about how you feel, how you act every single day. So don't allow the fact that you're in your 50s or in your 60s or whatever that number is to define and dictate how you're supposed to move, how you're supposed to act, or how you're supposed to flow. It's one of those things where you got to keep it energetic and always have the mindset of a young person, because we're young at heart.
Amen
Yeah.
to that.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it.
Yeah.
Wow. What a
Okay.
powerful, powerful episode with Steve and
Thank you.
Pasha.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys
Pleasure.
so much for
Thank you
sharing.
for your time. Thank you for your wisdom.
Yes.
Thank you for your vulnerability. Just thank you for sharing your transparency.
And thank
So
you for
many
having
people
us.
Yes, thank you
need
guys
to
so much
do
for having
that.
us.
We
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thanks
Our
for having us.
pleasure. Yeah.
So until next time,
Yeah. But make sure, wait a minute, make sure you like, share,
right.
subscribe, ring the notifications so you'll always get the updated shows. And we want to thank you for joining us on Get It Together for another podcast. And we will see you
next
on the
time.
next show. Take care.
Take care.